today we're going to be covering the latest AI model, which is called Grok 4, and that was released by Elon Musk's XAI AI company just on the July 9th. Okay, so a couple of days ago, and it's already scoring intelligent tests something like 73 out of 100, which is essentially one of the highest ones when it comes to intelligence scoring test. Okay, and we're going to look at some benchmarks and just AI model scores overall, and we'll compare it with Claude 4, GPT's 4.0 models, and also we'll look at the data overall. And also I'm going to show you how you can integrate Grok 4 into your n8n workflow, how to connect the node and where to get the API keys. And also you will be able to download this entire JSON template for free. So go check out below the video. There's going to be a link to download this JSON template using Google Drive. So just go ahead and download it, import that into your n8n, and everything is already here connected for you. And you will just need to essentially link your API credentials from XAI. Alright, so let's go ahead and dive into it right away. So what is Grok 4? If you never heard about it, essentially it's something like ChatGPT or Claude, but with some more special or advanced features in a sense, which we'll touch upon just in a second, okay? So why you should care about Grok 4 is because, again, it's the smartest AI model as of now, scoring 73 out of 100 on intelligent tests, okay? It's not really the global benchmark because it's not as good, for example, for creative purposes, which you're going to see in the data below as well just in a second. All right, so it's kind of beating the ChatGPT and Claude for intelligent tests, and including even the Google's Gemini as well, which scored only 70 instead of 73 like Grok 4. So looking at the chart right here, so we can really see that the Grok 4 is performing really well on intelligence scores, on math scores, and also on reasoning. Okay, so the reasoning, it has much better reasoning than Claude 4, for example, which is pretty cool because Claude 4 up to recent was essentially the best AI model when it came to reasoning. And Grok essentially as well has a real-time web access, which is really cool because ChatGPT has a limited window for web access. Okay, so it's not really a real-time web access where Grok 4 can essentially browse the internet at real time and give you the latest data that, for example, came out today, where ChatGPT will be working with older data. And there are essentially two versions available of Grok. So there's a regular Grok 4. It's kind of good for everyday like tasks and questions. But again, it's not really meant for something like how's the weather or help me create this recipe for the dinner. We'll touch on that as well just in a second. And then we have Grok 4 Heavy, which essentially uses multiple AI agents. So which is pretty awesome, I think, because it combines multiple AI agents to complete very, very complex tasks in a way. So essentially something like you have 4 assistants collaborating on your question or your task. So Grok 4 is out of the box built for tough questions. It's not really meant for questions like what's the weather. So it's designed for complex problems like research, business planning, or highly technical work. When it comes to pricing, so you can have a subscription at $30 a month, which gives you the access to Grok APIs, and also you have access to Twitter API, meaning you can essentially create a AI agent that can, I don't know, summarize and analyze latest tweets, or maybe suggest you topics or descriptions and improve your tweets, and then maybe you can work in a way that it automates and auto-posts everything onto X for you. And essentially, Grok will have the best practices for posting and creating content for X, for example. So if you want to use the actual interface for Grok, you can essentially go to the x.com and use Grok from there. Or you can just go to Google, for example, and type in Grok 4, okay, and go to this link right here. And then you're going to click on try Super Grok, okay, and it's going to bring you to, let me just go back, I'm on the wrong window. So let me see if I logged in. So yeah, you're going to go to Grok.4, create an account, and essentially it's very similar to all the other AI model platforms like Claude and ChatGPT. So very similar. You have deep search here. You have the thinking or reasoning model, and then you can select the model, okay, either Grok 4 or Grok 3, okay. And I believe currently I'm on the free plan because I'm only using the API keys as of right now. If you want to have access to Grok 4, you will need to subscribe to Super Grok at $30 a month to have the increased access to Grok 4 and essentially the rest of the models. And then you have the Super Grok Heavy, which essentially is kind of a less capped version of the Super Grok. So you have access to Grok 4, which is the heavy model, the one that we just talked about. It has sort of a 4 agents combined, or it could be more or less, depending on the task. So if the tasks are complex, it's going to sort of behind the scenes create a bunch of AI agents and assistants that will help you solve your question or whatever complex coding issue. For example, if you're building something, so you will have sort of a team of AI agents working behind the scenes for you with with the Grok 4 heavy model. Now here are a couple of examples that Grok 4 can do for you if you're a complete beginner. Okay, it can explain complex automation concepts in simple terms, because since we're focusing on n8n automations, okay, I'm also going to show you how it integrates with n8n and how well it can communicate or not with the n8n workflows and nodes and etc. It can help you debug n8n workflows, okay, and give you step-by-step guidance. We'll also try that out and write automation scripts and explain how they work. And essentially very similar to other models, but again, it's really focused on heavy and complex tasks, all right? So here I'm including some beginner use guides. You can download this entire doc for free, and also just go over it and see if there's any other useful information that you want to learn about Grok 4. And just some side notes, so coding performance is quite weaker than Claude 4, so it doesn't really perform well when it comes to building something from scratch. So it's not as good as Claude 4. Okay, Claude 4 right now is dominating AI market when it comes to complex coding tasks or building something using just basic prompts, and it's also a bit slower. So when I just created my first flow, and when I did basic, prompt like, hey, can you check my Gmail or create an event in my Google Calendar, it took about 2 minutes. But again, this could be an issue because Grok 4 servers are currently overloaded. It was released just a couple days ago on July 9, so it's possible that just too many people are using it. So at some point it was 2 minutes, then it was like 1 minute, and one of my most recent API calls took about 20 or 30 seconds. Okay, so it really depends on the server load, so you might see different timings. So should you choose Grok 4? If you need a real-time information for research, sure. If you need to do advanced problem solving for complex questions, sure. And if you are into like PhD research, stuff like that, and you need analytical help, then definitely Grok 4 will be a good choice for you. But again, if you are already using something like Claude 4, I do highly suggest that you kind of stick around with Claude 4 for now. I believe Grok 4 is a great model, but it still has a couple of bugs here and there behind the scenes. So I would wait a little bit until it kind of gets streamlined and kind of, has less bugs and issues. But again, it kind of does the job. So these are the basics and the foundations for the Grok 4 for all you beginners out there. So now let's go ahead into the n8n, and let me explain you the workflow and how that integrates with n8n and how the Grok 4 connects with everything in here. So this is a fairly simple flow. Here we have a AI agent, or the kind of think of it as a brain that will perform multiple actions. And then this AI agent has access to MCP server triggers, which are handling, in this case, my Gmail. So my Gmail is entirely handled by MCP servers, which AI agent has access to. Okay, because here it's AI agent, and then AI agent can call MCP tool Gmail or MCP tool Google Calendar, and then that tool is calling one of these ones right here. And all of these events are essentially handled by MCP servers. And again, you can do that in a more easy way. You can connect all of these tools under the tool right here, under the agent. But I just like to keep things clean and organized. So each tool has its own trigger. So because things can get messy if you, for example, want to have MCP trigger for all the tools out there. So instead of putting everything under the AI agent, you keep it organized. And if the tool has its own tool like this, then I do highly suggest to create MCP trigger node and connect all of its nodes under it, just to keep things clean and organized. And also just kind of we can test out the Grok 4 and see how well it communicates with MCP servers, if it understands what it is, and if it can handle multiple tools at the same time. So here we have an agent. The prompt is fairly simple, nothing crazy, pretty much standard prompting like I would be using for ChatGPT or Claude. have some basic variables just to let Grok know in which time zone I am and what is the current date, because I'm using Gmail and calendar nodes. This way we are ensuring that it's sending the right updates and changing the right events in the calendar. And then we have the XAI Grok chat model node. Okay, the way you're going to do it, you're going to click here, add a node, for example, and then you can just type in Grok, and this way you can find the Grok AI node right here. And once you do that, all you really need to have is your credentials. So in your case, you won't have it. You're going to click on create new credential here, and then you will need to pull your API key. Okay, and I will be including the links to get your API key as well in the description below the video. But if you want to do that, you can just do something like this. Going to type in Grok for API. Okay, and I made a typo, but here, this is the one. Okay, so x.ai/API. And then you're going to scroll down until you see start building, okay? And that's going to bring you to their console, not a console actually, to their docs. And from the docs, you can click on the API keys page. Again, guys, it's a bit confusing, so I'll be including this exact link in the video below the description, so you don't have to go and look for it. So once that is done, essentially, the first thing you need to do, you need to create API key, but if you don't have any credit card on the file, it's going to say, hey, you must first fund your account or add some credits. So you're going to do that. You're going to add your credit card. You can put something like $10. In my case, I also put just $15. And then once you do that, you will be able to create the API key. And once you do, copy the API key, bring it to n8n and copy paste it in here. And you're going to be essentially good to go. And when it comes to costs, Grok 4, it's a bit hungry. It takes about 12 cents per request, considering we are just sending sort of raw data. We're not really generating any content. Okay, so we're just literally communicating with the tools, sending emails, changing events in the calendar, and that is roughly costing us 12 cents per request. So it's quite pricey, considering that the data quality is basic. So I feel that could be improved. And again, for example, something like ChatGPT, OpenAI models, they are much, much cheaper for basic requests or basic functionalities like these, for example, we're going to be doing right here. So cool. Now let's test it out and let's see how Grok 4 can handle essentially our like being a personal assistant for us. So we're going to ask Grok 4 to create a calendar in our event. Then summarize everything and send me an email with all the summaries. And then we're going to ask him to confirm everything and let us know what it has done. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. All right, so here we're essentially saying create an event for this Friday at 5 p.m. So again, I'm not specifying which date or month. Let's see if it can handle that. Create an event for this Friday at 5 p.m. to meet clients to discuss new AI project, then send me an email to my email here. With clean and organized summary as well as perform basic web search. Okay, so we're kind of asking something out of the context, because in the prompt right here, I'm not really saying that you have any web capabilities. So we'll kind of see how flexible Grok is as well with that. And let me know the top 5 trends in AI I can discuss, okay? Maybe here during my meeting. Then include that in my email as well. Once done, confirm everything back to me. Okay, guys, so let's go ahead and shoot out to Grok and let's see how it can handle all of this at the same time. So let's hit send. So now we are running it for 2 seconds, 3 seconds. We're going to see the final runtime. Let's see how long it's going to take. So usually for ChatGPT, this takes about 20 seconds tops, sometimes even less. So let's see how long Grok is going to take, because already we are at 20 seconds right here. So it might be a bit of a longer query. So again, Grok 4 is not really the fastest model as of right now. ChatGPT at this point would be done already. Let's also check our usage while it's doing its thing. So right now we are at $1.0035. So let's see how much is actually one request costing us, something like this we're doing right here. Cool, so it's done. It took about 46, let's say, let's round it up. It took 47 seconds to do everything. It consumed 25, almost 2,600 tokens. And let's see if that is reflected already in here. Not yet, so it might take 5-10 minutes. We'll get back to this one. And okay, so it created the meeting in the Google Calendar for the Friday, July 18th. which is true. So today is July 14th. Now the time 5 to 6 in EST time zone. Then description, location was specified, event ID, and it said it sent an email to me. So let's see if it actually was able to do the web search. I don't think so. Actually it did. So here it is. It actually did summarize the 5 current trends in AI, and it sent that to my email. So let's go ahead to my Gmail and check it out if we got everything from the Grok as an email. So I'm going to go to my Gmail right here, and we have an email right here. Cool. So again, the formatting is off because I didn't adjust formatting or anything like that. I didn't ask for specific formatting. So again, that wasn't really the aim. So here we have the message. It created a calendar event for the meeting. Everything is good here. And then it's giving me a top 5 AI trends currently based on the real-time data. So this is good to go. It was able to handle the Gmail, send me a summary, perform a web search. Now let's see if it was able to add a calendar event as well. So here it was able to do that. This was my previous query, lunch with wife at 12 p.m. And then for July 18, it created another one at 5 p.m. meeting with clients to discuss new AI projects. Cool. So it was able to handle everything. It took a bit of time. So now let's go back to the usage. There you go. There it is. So it reflected. Now we went from 0.035 to 0.0677. So this request right here was actually pretty cheap. We only paid for it not even a cent. We paid for it 0.642 cents. Yesterday I was doing a bit of more heavy testing, so here I spent 32 cents, but again I did quite a lot. So today we actually only spent 0.6 not even 0.6 0.06 cents for this request. Again, that's pretty good. But again, it's expected. We barely did anything. We only consumed 2,600 tokens. So again, that's fairly cheap and fairly well priced for something like this. So again, Grok 4 can essentially do pretty much everything that OpenAI 4.0 or Claude could do. But again, it will depend on your task and what you are trying to do with your automation. If you're trying to do and automate basic stuff like this right here, maybe content creation or some basic scripting. Again, I wouldn't suggest using Grok 4 to create creative scripts because it scored the weakest when it comes to creative thinking. So if you need to create social media content and stuff like that, I do not suggest using Grok 4. But if you're analyzing a lot of heavy data or doing PhD research, for example, and maybe you need to log everything onto Excel sheet through your automation, then definitely Grok 4 is the way to go. And that's pretty much it. That's the summary of Grok 4. I hope you guys enjoyed the content. If you did, like and subscribe and enable notifications so you get notified when the next video drops, because I'm always including free resources and free JSON templates that you can download and plug in into your n8n right away so you can start playing around with it and testing it, okay? If you run into any issues, guys, you can kind of join my Discord personal server. It's going to be below the video in the description box. In there, I'm going to be sharing free exclusive templates. And if you have any problems with n8n or any questions, you can always reach out and I will help you out personally. And as always, I'm going to see you next time.